Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. I would be very brief in presenting what work we started. In 2008, June, we started this program, Faith in Action, in India, wherein we invite, for the first time ever, many religious leaders belonging to different sects and different groups came together in Bangalore. We were about 200 and odd religious leaders, as you see, and there was a lot of hesitation because for the first time ever, Swami Agniveshji was very much there, and he took the lead in bringing all the people, moderating many sessions. And there were many questions raised and asked about the moral, authority and how it's morally correct to even recommend condoms and abstinence, of course, no difficulty. And being faithful is no difficulty. But the third thing became a very big, dicey issue. But people really came together, and we decided we should do an action plan. And you see all the religious leaders coming together. And the last day of the conference, next slide please, next one. No, one previous. Then we had invited the public, an interaction. About 20,000 people came and we interacted with them. We told them what the religious leaders are up to. Then we started the program. Previous. Then we started this program called Hara. Hara is a sacred word. Hara also means the remover of pain, the Lord. And Hara means HIV awareness for rural adolescents. So in this program, within a week's time, we could reach 21,950 people in rural areas. Next slide. So we combined that, previous. So we combined that with a little bit of exercise, some breathing exercise, and keeping people calm for a minute and internalize, think what they can do and would they like to be part of bringing this awareness campaign. And youths readily stood up for the program, and we gave them a small orientation, the next one, where some of the doctors came and explained to them the anatomy and explained to them that AIDS and HIV is not contagious as people think. It doesn't move from saliva to saliva, and they should not be treated as lepers or untouchables, and they are part of you. All this education was imparted by doctors and qualified people. Next slide. So there are many women and men and women groups. They separate. We had separate training for them because there is a big taboo about men coming and speaking about that to women, and women coming and speaking. Especially, it is a cultural thing in India. So we had to make separate groups and make people go into the villages, into rural areas, and talk to household. Next slide. Then we had these classes conducted to them, and seminars conducted in many taluka levels, the small areas. Next. This is where all the religious leaders in one platform addressed nearly about 20,000 people on that last day of the conference. Next. That's it. So from then on, it is continuing in different parts of the country, and we have one organization called Sarvadharam Sansad, where people of all different religions have been coming together as a federation of faith-based organizations, and through which we are trying our best to get the message across. Now there are two ways. One is to tell them this is a very serious issue and how disastrous it could be if we don't attend to it today. This does motivate people. out of fear and a sense of emergency. But in the long run, I feel that, you can say that once, twice, thrice, then people get fed up with it. They just take it easily, and, it's like crying wolf. After a while, they don't pay heed to it. I felt that second approach, that is to show them success stories. So we showed them several success stories. One of it in the state of Kerala, down south. We got HIV infected women and men together, and some of them we got them married. So there is an ashram there by one of our participants of the conference as well. His name is Sunil Das, and he is conducting programs for them and bringing the children who are orphaned and also these people, and the orphan children are being taken care by the couple who are HIV infected. We have also introduced some yoga and meditation for them so that their whole attitude towards life is very positive. So they look things at positive, and they feel positive, they feel energized, they feel more motivated, and they feel normal. And this community is being interacted with the rest of the society with more compassion and care. So the taboo, that sense of fear, to a great extent is eliminated. Success stories do motivate people even more than a fear psychosis. This is my experience. So whenever a religious leader stands up and says, look, here is a beautiful story, look at this person has done such a good work, and we have to do this, and I feel the youngsters take on to the work. Nearly 5,000 volunteers went around different areas, though we need many more. We need more resources, we need more volunteers to work on this project. But the project Hara has been very, very satisfying. Though it is young, it's just a year and a half since it took off. But I feel that if we can get more such positive stories from around the world, and we can inspire people to take action, we'll be able to make a dent in the present crisis. Now, as far as India is concerned, there are these truck drivers who pass through the whole length and breadth of the country, and it is these people who infect the virus. They stop wherever they stop, and there are women, there is prostitution, though it's not legal. Legally it's not permissible, but somehow this gets spread. Now we had a program for them too, that these people, truck drivers union, auto rickshaw drivers union, auto rickshaw is the small vehicle, taxis. It's these people who are not educated, they know only to drive a vehicle, and they are not well educated about either medical science or current situation in the society. And an awareness among them, I think, is very vital. So we started some work in that direction as well.